I'm here with Anan Rudra from Spain or from Europe. Recently, I did a mom retreat or actually training with him, and I have a few questions that most of the people out there would like to ask, and I or did ask, and I would like to ask Anan a little bit of these questions because it's very informative if it comes from him. Anan, I did the training with you earlier this year. That's in 2019, and I have a list of questions that some of my clients ask me, and I'm not sure if I always have the correct information for them. And I would like to ask you the questions so that also explains everything.
Okay, thank you. First of all, we should clarify what is mom.
Yes.
The mom also
Yeah, it's nothing to do with children.
No, the training mom is for those ones that I have not. This is a very, very beautiful training that we had this year. For the first time, I was preparing for almost 5 years this training, and it's about become multi-orgasmic men. And then, I will open to those questions.
Great. So the first question was, what is mom?
What I try to do with multi-orgasmic men training and experiences is that men, we can actually start to know different kinds of orgasms that we have in the body. And what I have seen is that most of the times you will say, okay, different orgasms is that everybody know. Right now we are in the 21st century. If you put multi-orgasmic men, you will know that men we have different kinds of orgasms that are not the ejaculation. And mom, what it was is to give you the experience little by little in order that you in your body you can recognize what is called an orgasm, that is an implosion or explosion of energy, and how you can recognize how that energy moves into your body. And it can be different kinds of levels of energy. And when that energy fulfill of your body has to explode or implode in your body. Then mom had the target in order that you can experience this in your body, but also you can do it in your own home, and also do it with your partner. And it's not only for it can be for a woman applying to a man. It's not only men to men.
Or how does a session, when we do a session of mom, how does that work? I mean, just give me a little bit background how a session works.
The session started with breath work.
Yes.
And what it allows the breath work is that you are able to start to work with your brain in order that your brain started to open itself to the electrical and energetical stimulation that your body is going to have. Then we have around 4 different kinds of breath works that allows to create beta, theta, delta, and other kinds of brain waves in your brain, in order that your body and the synapses in your brain is very well communicated from your brain to the rest of the body. Then that's why we develop the breath work into the session. And after the breath work, we are doing a combination of what we call kriyas, that are a set of exercises in order that you can awake all the lines of energy and all the meridians in your body, in order that energy started to move faster when there's a direct stimulation into the body. Then you and other person, you are breathing and you are doing exercise in order to open in the channels of energy that your body has. Then we teach the people, besides the different kinds of breath works, to breathe in a different way, that is a tantric breath work, that allows to oversaturate faster the body, but also allows you not to be in your mind, but in your body.
Because most men have sex with their mind and not with the body.
Yes, and then the perception started to happen, because most of the times people, they cannot believe that you can have an orgasm in one part of your body that is not your genitalia. Then in that precise exercise, we teach the people how to do what is called Agnisara. That is a movement in the lower chakras in the body that allows you to connect more stronger and overfulfill of energy that the body. Then we have a stimulation already to the brain. Then we have breath work that allows you to move pranic energy or more oxygen as you wanted. And we have movement into the body. And that movement we have around 4 different kinds of layers of energy just in the pure exercise that we are developing. Then you started not only to awaken your body, the energetical parts of your body, the lines of energy of your body, not only your brain, but you are starting with this exercise to oversaturate of different levels of energy your whole body.
There's also that perception, and especially in South Africa, because we are coming from a very strict and conservative background, is that isn't these things a little bit from too much Eastern philosophies, and maybe I will be afraid to do so. You're talking about chakras and energy and expanding, and that's totally out of our reference. Is that not a little bit from the devil?
What I try to put together this course, I try to put it out of the Tantra perspective, separate it a little bit and make it practical. Then that in order that the men can understand what is happening in the body. When we refer to these things of chakras, this is scientifically proved. That's what I like, what I do. That's why I like Tantra, because it's not only about something that is over there in the hocus pocus, or it comes from the Eastern, or is something that is esoterical. Your body has lines of energies. 3 years ago, there's a study that was made in Stanford University in which they discovered that we have these meridians of energy, and they proved that there were meridians of energy. For a long time, we know from psychological point of view, for other kinds of scientific studies, that the body is connected to the mind and the mind is connected to the body. And the way that we are growing is growing biological but also psychological. And this growing of our bodies for men and female is linked to our endocrinal system. That endocrinal system is particular place in along your spine and different kinds of inner organs. And those inner organs are related to energetical centers of energy.
Yes.
That we call chakras. Then it's not hocus pocus. That's why I like what we do, or what I do. Then for the people that they are not into the Tao or Tantra or I don't know, Ayurveda or these philosophies and these kind of sciences, when you started to feel what does it do, the mom experience, you can start to experience that just electromagnetically you can generate energy down here.
And that's that warm feeling of the hands.
It's more than warm, it's electromagnetical energy,
Okay.
even though you can do like this and then you can be started to sense it.
Okay, so this not only warmth.
Yeah, it's not only warm, you feel the electricity started to move.
Okay.
It's not hocus pocus because it's electromagnetical energy.
And that's where the name comes from. It feels like electricity flow through the body.
Yes.
Oh, but that's not an orgasm. Or is
No, the orgasm, the main problem that we have with the word of orgasm is that is related to the ejaculation, or either to a peak explosion of sexual energy into the body. But orgasm itself, the word, it comes from the Greek that it says orgasm, that is solo of an organ. The main change of this concept came in France when people went to the prostitutes in order to release.
Okay.
And then what they do, the people say to the prostitutes, please orgasme, take me to a peak orgasm.
Okay.
And from there, that concept that we have about orgasm is linked to the maximum point of pleasure into the body. Related to what you ask, an orgasm is an explosion or an implosion of the energy. When you laugh, when you cry, when you are sad, when you are angry, it comes something inside of your body that is accumulated. Because every time that you think and you sense and you perceive, your brain is generating a lot of electricity. Your emotions generate electricity, and it generates different kinds of frequencies and vibrations into the body. When you are sad or when you are in love and when you are in lost, then you are rising up different kinds of levels of electricity in your body, and a different kinds of way this accumulation of energy and electricity that is happening in your body then is going to create sooner or later a big explosion because your body doesn't know where to put this energy.
Yes. The question that came from a client is, how would mom help me as a person, but then also my relationship and also with sex with my partner or with my wife?
And these kind of things, first of all, you are going to be able to recognize how the energy moves into your body, where are erotical spots in your body, how these erotical spots are connected to the rest of the body, how can I start to experience my own sexual energy even though you are not going to touch in some parts genitalia, because you can gradually take the mom experience from non-genitalic to genitalic experience. Then to see how I'm connected to my body and how can start to know the potentiality of my body. Now, when you started to know the potentiality in an energetical way with your body, in an orgasmic way with your body, then you are going to be able not only to control that sexual energy, but also to expand it whenever you want.
Okay.
That means if you wanted, for example, if you are a person that has premature ejaculation, the mom experience allows you to connect with your sexual energy in a different way in order that you do not depend on the ejaculation, but you can experience orgasms that are not related to the ejaculation. But the more you are capable to control your sexual energy with this kind of orgasms, the more you are capable in order to avoid the ejaculation and to expand the pleasure and not be depending or feeling that sensation that, oh, I'm going to be releasing. Then also other things that you can be starting to know besides your all erotical spots and how to control and expand your sexual energy, you are going to be able how to tell to your partner where is the richest zone that where you can have orgasms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the most nicest thing is to expand the capability of having orgasmia. Men, we have 13 different kinds of orgasms, sorry.
30.
Yeah, and 10 that are not ejaculatory, 3 different kinds of ejaculations. And most of the times we are depending only on one ejaculation.
Yes, I mean, it feels like if I start doing this, that the way I lived my life for 47 years previously is going to change. And I'm kind of scared because I know how to get myself to ejaculation, but now, to do it differently is quite scary.
More than scary is nicer because what I have experienced with other clients is they say, why I could not know that my body can do this.
Oh, yeah.
Then the nicest thing is that when you started to do this with your wife or with your partner, then it opens a whole new world how you do intimacy with your partner and how do you experience pleasure.
Yes.
The more you are connected to your multi-orgasmic capability or potentiality, the more you are going to be able to learn how to caress, to learn that maybe in a kiss you can have an orgasm. And then you could now start to know how your wife or how the women perceive orgasmia. Then it brings you to the same kind of way that they are doing their own sexual, intimate life, the women.
Yes.
Then it's really nice to a man to be able to be experiencing this and to take it to another ground.
Isn't that just and I'm talking about the mom, isn't that a sexual activity? I mean, because you're taking me to a sexual ecstasy, but for me it's like, isn't that just sex?
But well, this is a really nice question because when you talk, for example, about tantra, everybody thinks, okay, this is a sexual kinky thing that you are going to have. Somebody's going to be arousing you or touching genitalia, and then there's going to be an intimate thing, or it's going to be perceived as a sexual thing. One of the things that human beings we have not recognized is that our body has sexual energy, and sexual energy is the most powerful energy that is in the human body, that is able to co-create or to create another human being. And most of the time it's wasted up in the ejaculation when you masturbate or when you just do primitive sex and it goes away. But when you do these kind of practices and you started to feel that your sexual energy is not connected to your penis and is not connected to a sexual act, then that's what you started to understand what is sexual energy. Then imagine that you are going to be experienced we have in the mom experience, for example, a non-genitalic sexual orgasm. And when I say this is long, but imagine you can have a sexual orgasm with not touching your genitals.
Wow.
Then you say, okay, what he's talking about?
Yes.
Now I wanted to know. Then imagine that when you are with a woman, and then she is already recognizing that there is sensuality already in the process, and then she's already open to an intimate session, and then you go and you just touch the skin, and by just touching the skin, she generates an orgasm. Men, we cannot do that because all the time we are linked that we have to be naked and we have to be doing sex in order to have an orgasm. Now imagine that in the mom experience we can go, for example, to one part that is in the stomach, and then I call it the main uterus points. You go to those points, and then the person with already a lot of energy there is going to be experiencing kind of sexual energy, but it's not linked to the sexual act because we are not committed an intimate sex, but we are stimulating those points that are linked directly to the sexual organs, but also are direct linking to pleasure, but also linked to sensuality and erotica. Then you do these points, and then the brain is recognizing there is a sexual stimulation, and the brain allows to happen an orgasm that is kind of sexual, but you are not doing no sexual act.
Yes.
You're just touching two flex points, to what we call in Tantra marmas. You are touching those marmas and you're generating an orgasm that is sexual.
And is there no ejaculation? Nothing?
No, there's no ejaculation, but there's a really intense pleasure that comes from those 2 points that are connected to your penis, but even though you are not having a hard-on.
And would you also have pre-cum or not?
Yeah, it depends. The pre-com, you have to be related in 2 things, in the stimulation and how is the erotical approximation of the brain to the encounter, but also you have the erotical approximation that comes from biology of our own bodies.
Okay.
Then those stimulations are linked and 2 different kinds of levels, and even though you are not connected to the person that is doing the mom, then your body is responding to the stimulation and you can have pre-seminal liquid. That is normal, because the body started segregating because it's connecting to erotical and sensual, depending on your brain, but also depending on your sexual enclaves of yourself. That means, for example, maybe somebody can be touching the arm and it's already too sensual and sexual and it started to be releasing pre-seminal liquid, but it depends.
So my next question, I think you did answer, what was the difference between orgasm and ejaculation? Because sometimes we talk about, my partner gave me an orgasm and it was actually just the ejaculation. So we talk differently, or we talk wrong, isn't it?
Yes, the ejaculation is just the exit of semen in a big, huge explosion out of your body. Now, this ejaculation, for example, in multi-orgasmia, we can have it in 3 different levels. One, the normal ejaculation that you can have out of the stimulation directly to your penis. And then you have another one that comes from the prostate. And we have 4 different kinds of points, not only in the prostate, but linked to the sacred zone, that is the anal cavity. You have your G spot, you have your P spot, that is your prostate. But in the prostate, besides your P spot, you can have around 3 different kinds of spots that are linked to the P spot in the same prostate.
Sure.
Then you have another point that is the bridge of pleasure before the prostate that is linked to the urethra. And then you have another point that we call the $1 million point. You touch from the inside and the outside in the men. And that point is a very beautiful mark point because it connects to the whole stimulation of all these 3 points,
Wow.
just in one point. And from this stimulation of these points, you can allow the men to have an ejaculation even with not touching the penis.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Sure.
it's very powerful. Then you have, besides those 2, you have another one that is just energetically.
Okay.
Then you can have been, for example, you can be stimulated, or you can do, for example, fellatio to your woman or fellatio to your partner. And then with that energy that you are receiving, for example, in the mouth, then you go directly to the vertebral column. And from the vertebral column, it comes a lot of energy that even with no touching, it comes a natural reaction of the penis in order to ejaculate with no touching.
One question was, and I'm very glad that you brought up the anal, the prostate, but this person asked me, I'm not comfortable with any anal touch or even prostate, and there's a lot of shame there for this person. And if you do a mom experience or a massage, do you always go in there, or does it?
You can stimulate, for example, there's a way to stimulate the prostate, but not going inside.
Okay.
Then you have one point underneath the root of the phallus.
Yes.
For those ones that don't know what is the phallus, is penis. Then you go there, and then you can go directly and stimulate one area that connects directly to the prostate, and you actually feeling that somebody's touching your prostate with not being inside. Now, for that person that do not like to be touching over there, because I understand, because that's a shaming part. Well, that's where I defecate. That's where I go and do my own needs. But what I tell to all my clients is you have to see your sexual organs divided in 3. 1, your penis, 1, your anal cavity, and then the rest of the body.
Oh.
Then
Okay.
3 different kinds of genitalia. When you experience that you can have been stimulated directly to the thing, when you are already expanded and recognizing your sexual capability, through multi-orgasmia, if you are with the correct person, only with just one stimulation in the arm is enough in order to connect to your penis, and is also connected to your anal cavity, and then generate orgasmia. Now, for those men that are afraid to be touching over there, I invite you that they can explore. You don't have to go there directly inside there, but they started just with a little bit of a stimulation in the beginning, in the rings in the outside rings of your anal cavity, and it's really nice because you go to an organ that is the sphincter, and the sphincter is an organ that controls all our fears, all of our basic needs, but controls all the emotions that are very primitive.
And is that also where the base chakra then sits?
Yes, that's the root chakra. That's
Root chakra, okay.
And it's connected directly to the prostate. But the prostate by itself is connected also to 4 different kinds of chakras, the 4 first chakras.
Okay. People who has prostate problems or prostate cancer or what, is that any relating to not allowing energy flow, or is there, I mean, you can't really say, but is there connection?
That's a very hard question, because if an allopathic doctor hear me, well, they say, well, this person is crazy. But all our sickness that comes into our body comes out of emotions. And then sometimes emotions trigger different kinds of vibrations into our body. And that's scientifically proved. I don't have to go there. It's scientifically it's proved that in the body we have 5 different impacts of memories into the skin. That William Reich already, all the studies of Gestalt psychology already prove that there are connections to every part of our muscles and every part of the organs. Now, regarding the prostate cancer, is sometimes very related to what is our second chakra, that is the sexual organs, but also all our intimate life, how we are handling the desires, how we are handling the aspects of my relationship with my partner, my wife, my boyfriend, and how is linked the emotions to the sexual activity. And of course, the prostate also is linked to all these emotions that are triggering into our body in intimacy.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. So yes, I can understand because because there's all the shame and everything that's connected there, and no emotions, no vulnerability. That's a big thing.
Sexual frustration, sexual desires that are over there, but also intimate desires. Prostate, also when you wanted to do something and you are not able to do it, that's linked to the second chakra.
Sure.
Then there's a lot of studies. For example, Carl Jung has a very beautiful study how it's related the inner organs of the prostate to our second chakra.
One person said, I'm going to feel very vulnerable lying down and you working with me in a very deep way, and maybe I will have emotional or emotions. Does emotions come out in a mom treatment?
As I said before, when you touch somebody, you are connecting to their mind, but also not the present mind, but also all the impacts that we have in life. Just imagine yourself when you are a kid and you are, let's say, for example, 5 years old. You are in your bicycle, really nice, happy, and your parents are over there, and this is the first time that they are allowing you to drive yourself the bicycle. And then in the thing, you fell. Then when you fell, the brain has 2 options. First, there's a shock, and that shock comes into your body because you are feeling. But then the brain at the same moment is seeing the parents over there. Then you can have the option to yell to your parents. You have the option also to cry, but you have also the option to say nothing. Then you are experiencing different kinds of things, and on top you are experiencing the reaction of your parents, what they are going to be doing, how they are going to be reacting. Now, you can have the option, very mature, and say, oh, it doesn't have nothing, I continue.
Yes.
And there was nothing. Your brain can have the option, okay, my parents are not reacting, I felt, I started, this is hurting me a lot. Then you started to cry, there's no reaction of my parents, and immediately the subconscious got that shock that you have and put it into your body. Now, that shock is harvest for a long time. Then there, in your body, that shock connected to the subconscious. But if you are not conscious, then I say you are crying and say mama, papa, whatever, mother, father, and you are yelling. Now they come, and now there's a second reaction. That was a reaction to come, and there's another reaction. Okay, get up, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Then it comes, and that impression comes into you and put another level of blockage there. Then you go, and then you go in angerness or in sadness, and it comes to your body. Then anger and sadness create another level of blockage. And then it's there when you were 6. Now, every time that somebody abandoned you, that blockage increase more. Now, with mom experience, you have a lot, immense energy that you're going to be moving into the body. Now imagine that you have that kind of blockage, and that energy is pushing out this kind of feelings that were there impressed into your body, in your muscles, in your skin, and but also in your subconscious. And then out of nothing, you are experiencing something really nice that is the pleasure to exploring in orgasm. But then the subconscious brings something, and then you started to cry, and you don't know why you are crying. Or you are getting pissed off. And then, of course, emotions, they come. And then, of course, you come in a vulnerable state because you don't know what to do.
Okay.
And what we prepare to the people that are doing the training, as you know, there's an ethical procedure to sustain the space in these terms, and try to expand that energy and try to see how you can help them in order to keep with the process. Now, the most important thing of this that you need to consider is that when you are doing this kind of activities, you generate a life living experience. That life living experience generate an impact into the brain and into the body that creates a process. And in that process can be a liberation of emotions or cannot be liberation of emotions. But that process is not going to stay that in the mom experience. It will take your client or the person that experienced mom outside of that session. Then us as a therapist with mom, we have to be looking after the client in order to see how he is and try to follow up the client with the emotions that they are feeling and try to see that we can help him in order to recognize or either just to cope with the emotion and sustain the space for them.
Yeah, just holding that space.
Yes, exactly.
Just be there for them. And this one lies very close to me is for many, many years I didn't had a connection with my penis or my lingam, but also it didn't feel like I feel something. So somebody can stimulate me and I don't feel anything. But if I stimulate myself, I know I have it in my hand and I can stimulate myself. So how can this help me to get feeling back into my body? I mean, we always just think about things, and like you said, we have sex with our brains, but how to bring that into the body, or will it happen by itself?
Yeah, when you have numbness in your genitalia, some of the times is because we are connected to just one kind of stimulation and just one way to do our own things, or there's an issue that had been leave a lot of bad experiences on the penis. Just imagine yourself that you, for example, when you were a teenager, you were masturbating and you like to do it very fast,
yes,
like this.
Yes.
Or imagine that you are with your wife and or with your partner and you are being just penetrating the person and then you are having this. Or you have only an experience that you can reach pleasure just seeing porno and masturbating very hard. Then it creates a lot of numbness over there. Or you were maybe molested.
Yes.
You know, and there's a morbidity, but also something that is numb over there.
Because you don't want to go there.
Yeah, or you wanted to close yourself to your intimate experience because you lost your partner. I have had a lot of people that they have lost their partners and they don't want to have no more sex, and they don't want to touch over there, and then it's numb. Then now with the multi-orgasmic experience, what you are doing, there's part of the multi-orgasmic experience where you are doing a little bit of the armoring of that part, but also you are connecting all the lines of energy that moves the sexual energy into the body, but also all the energy of the body. Then sooner or later, when you are doing the moment experience, there's a connection of intensity to your genitalic area.
Oh, wow. When we're busy with the mom experience, do I as a client, and now I'm breathing, do I need to visualize anything? Or can I just experience, be in the moment?
You can be in the moment. That's the most important thing. That allow yourself just to not to put many things in the mind. But at the end of the session, we ask to visualize, because for us it's very important that if we are, for example, going to the full experience of the multi-orgasmic experience that can be over 2 hours, almost 3, then if you have a stimulation in the penis, a stimulation in the anal cavity, and you experience more than 13 different kinds of orgasm, you enter in ecstasy that you cannot control nothing, and there's a lot of sexual energy expanded in your body, then you don't want that this person goes out like he had committed something that is sexual but is not sexual, that he was touched intimately but he didn't do sex, or all these kind of questions that are over there. What we do is a process in order that the person takes this sexual energy and do alchemy and transform it through the vision and through breath work and through different kinds of processes, in order that this dense energy that is sexual is not staying there like sexual energy. It's very difficult to understand how just through visualization, breath work, and different kinds of methods into the body, you can bring something that is very sexual in something that it can be very spiritual. I don't want to go there, but you can feel that sensation, or you can feel the sense, okay, something happened. I was very excited, and now I'm not excited. And then we ask the people to visualize the energy and put different kinds of colors in order that the person can direct this energy that is maybe sexual to the heart.
Okay.
And for those ones that they are saying why to the heart, is because of love. Maybe because of love, but also when you handle this energy. 7 years ago, people from the Stanford University discovered that the heart and the chest, they have two different kinds of frequencies, and the heart has something that is called the kaf frequency or vibration energy, and that vibration energy is related to the Big Bang. And when you take this kind of frequency, because sexual energy is a vibration by itself and has a lot of frequencies that are very there, when you take all this accumulation of energy to the chest, you are going to expand it in a different kind of frequency.
Yes.
Then when we ask the person to visualize, we are telling to the brain to generate different kind of electricity just by color. And that if you tell me, oh, and this is too crazy, I don't believe on the colors and this, just I'm telling you, 2 years ago was discovered that when we are thinking and when we are visualizing, the brain started to create a vibration of energy that is completely different from the thoughts. When you visualize, it's completely different. Now, this is not only this, because the study is, okay, I put 20 people to visualize something, and with our voice, I ask them to visualize that thing. But suddenly, these 20 brains, these 40 hemispheres, started to resonate with the same frequency, and they started to communicate each other.
Oh, wow.
Then, what we are doing with this kind of energy and inductions of visualization, the practitioner of the mom and the client of the mom, they are visualizing one beautiful energy and convert it in something else that is going to be having a different kind of vibration, just by the brain. And the brain is going to pulse this kind of frequency into the new energy that is going to the heart. But also by itself, the chest and the heart, they have two beautiful frequencies that are completely different from a sexual frequency.
Wow. We did say that you can bring this, some of the touch and the feeling and maybe talking and experience to my partner or my wife. But can I do it all by myself, alone?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do a lot of energetical orgasm by yourself. Also, you can stimulate yourself and then bring multi-orgasm into your body. once you started to do the practices, then you can start to feel how you can start to stimulate yourself and then bring it up. Either you can go directly to a sexual stimulation, or you can do it with breath work and different kinds of exercise in order to create and generate orgasm. Then it's like when I tell you, think about the South African flag.
Yes.
Then it creates immediately an effect in your brain, but also immediately an effect in your heart, and immediately an effect into your body. When you started to experience multi-orgasm and you started to train your body, and then when I say, okay, I wanted to go to an orgasm, then I close my eyes and then I feel it. And I can sense it, perceive it, and expand it whenever you want.
Anand, this was very informative, and thank you so much.
And also we have a lot of therapists that are now certified in Europe.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anand, and
Thank you.
hope to see you soon.
I hope to see you soon, Johan.
Thank you.
Thank you.